Okay, my name is Professor Akinsanya Cambone. I used to teach at Cal State Long Beach. I'm retired. I'm now working on, I'm also an artist, and now I have more time to work on my art. This is the Gallery Cambone and the Pan African Art Studio. And we're going to do a tour of the Gallery Cambone. And I'll talk about some of the pieces that I've created based on research that I've done from 14 different trips to the African continent and the research that I did studying African art on those trips. Over to my right, we'll start with the celestial gate guards. This first one over here, with his ears covered, the only information he gets is coming straight from the Creator. And the information that comes to him tells him which people are qualified to go to which part of heaven. Now, you don't get told what part of heaven you go to. They let you make your own choice, because most of us know whether we did right or wrong while we were on the earth. If we did bad things, we go to the bad part of heaven. In most African culture, there's no such thing or such place as hell. You have a heaven, and in heaven you have sections. One is for people that do good, and one is for people that do bad. The difference is the people who do bad is coming back. They're coming back, and their spirit comes back through their children, grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, or whatever. So they're going to return. If they go to the bad heaven, that means they don't have a chance of coming back. This is one of the celestial gate guards, and this one here is Orumla. Orumla is the high priest. And this is the guy here who is the actual gate guard, and he's the one that if you try to sneak into the wrong heaven, he puts you out. If you try to go to the good heaven when you don't deserve to go there. This piece here deals with the spirit that protects the birds when the birds take your prayers to the Creator. And this came about because in my studio I had a problem with birds nesting, and they would poop all over the artwork and all over everything in the studio. And one day I was going to tear down the nest, and there was a brother from Nigeria here, and he said, "Oh, no, you can't tear the nest down." He said, that you have to wait till the birds hatch and the babies fly off and all that. He said, "You can't do that." He said, "Because the birds are good, because they fly to heaven and they take your prayers to the Creator, to God, okay? And this is the deity that flies to heaven with the birds and protects them on their way to heaven so that nothing will harm the birds." The next piece is for girls and women, taking girls through the transition from girls to woman. And that's what this piece deals with. The piece here is Osanyan, and Osanyan is the one that God gave the knowledge of plants and herbs to make you well. He is like the pharmacist or the doctor. He knows what plants can heal any disease that you get. That's the knowledge that was given to him by God the Creator. Even though God gave him the knowledge, he abused it. He abused the knowledge, and you'll see that he has one eye, and he's deaf in one ear, and he has one arm. Well, the story of Osanyan is so in-depth, and one day I'll really get into it, but with the time that we have, I don't think I have time to get into the whole story. And this is the high priest, another version of Orumla, the high priest. We're going to move over to this piece here. This is a special piece, and this deals with Sankofa. Sankofa is the African deity from the Akan or the Ashanti in Ghana, and this is the bird that reaches back to the egg for your history, how important the knowledge of self or your history is. And if you see what I've done, I've transformed this woman, her head, looking forward to move forward. You got to go back to your history, which is the bird's head on her back reaching for the egg. And this is my own interpretation of Sankofa. And over here is Oshun. And Oshun is a god of, she's a deity that's over perfumed rivers and beauty. And she's also one of the wives of Shango, who is next to her to the right of her. And if you notice Shango, he has the symbol of the double blade axe on his head and the serpents, which is one of the things that brought life to the land. God, the creator, told them to put the frogs in the water and call the snakes out of the mountains to eat the frogs. And the snakes can make the trails for the rivers and streams to bring life to the earth, or life to the land. And that's what's taking place with the serpent and the frog in his mouth. To the right of Shango is Olokun. Olokun is the deity that God put in charge of life underneath the sea and the oceans and the sea. He controls all the animals underneath the sea. And if you notice, he has mudfish for feet. And this is a piece in the back, a bronze piece, a 17th century bronze piece that I got from Africa. And this piece has been around for a long time. And that's Olokun with his attendants. And you can see the mudfish feet. And that's an actual piece that I got from Africa. I didn't make that. Okay, over here, we have another piece that also deals with a Sanufu deity. Sanufu from Ivory Coast or in different parts of West Africa. Sanufu is a group, and what she is doing is she is actually calling the snakes out of the mountains to come to get the frogs. And then you see the chameleon on her chest. The chameleon is the one that God sent to test the earth to make sure it was stable so that the humans could live on it. He had to make sure that the earth wasn't sinky when they transformed it from a watery marsh to a solid ground for humans to live. To the right of her, or to the left of her, is Oya. That's one of Oya. This is for libations to Shango. And that one next to that, the third one, is also Oya. And Oya is the deity that God put over the wind, or life force. Every time a child is born and he takes his first breath, it's Oya that blows the breath into his mouth, the breath of life. When the child goes, when you spank him on the bottom and he goes like that, it's Oya who blows life, or the breath of life, into that baby. And she's also present when everyone dies at your deathbed. When you take your last breath, Oya is the one that sucks the breath out of you when you die. And this is another depiction of Shango. And to the left of Shango is Oya again. And she has the sword of the warrior. And you can see that she has the tombstones because the graveyard is her home and crocodiles are her messengers. And to the left of her is another one of Oshun. This is another depiction of Sankofa below, the bird reaching back for the egg, showing the importance of a people's history. And this is an equestrian piece over here of Shango. And next to Shango on a horse is another equestrian piece of Oya. And Oya has the ability to turn herself into a wild buffalo. She can do that. She can turn herself, she can make herself into a tornado or a whirlwind or a tsunami. Anything that deals with the wind, Oya can do that. Very, very powerful spiritual deity. We're going to try to move through these kind of quick now. You can kind of show some of the other ones, but I'm not going to be able to talk about all of them.
Okay.
This piece here.
Hang on. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This piece here has to do with female and the menstrual cycle, how the life cycle, and every month from a female, an egg is passed. If the egg is not fertilized, it'll just be washed away in the blood. But once it's fertilized, then life begins. That's how life starts in the body of the female. And there's a whole story with this one that has to do with the snakes being called out of the mountains to eat the frogs, to bring life to the earth. In everything, life is always in a constant transition. There's life and something dies and something else is born. The earth and humans and everything in nature has a continual life force that's continually evolving or rotating. I'll talk about this the mother butterfly from the Bobo. Excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, from the Bobo people in Burkina Faso, there's a city called Bobo, and Bobo is where the Bobo people are, and they're the ones who have this butterfly deity. They have these butterfly masks they dance with every year because they believe that God sent the female butterfly spirit, the queen mother butterfly, and they try to appease her every year when they want rain. Because after the rains, the butterflies swarm around all the rivers and streams in Burkina Faso. So what they do is they make these gigantic butterfly masks and they dance when there's a drought to appease the butterfly spirit. So the queen mother butterfly will send her children so the rain will come and the butterflies will come. So they associate that with the crops and fertility of the crops when they want rain. This is the female butterfly, the queen mother butterfly, and these are two male butterflies down here vying for position to mate with the female. This is the Oba of Benin. The Oba of Benin. This is the wife of the Oba, the queen mother of Benin. And this is the young prince of the Oba's son.
And all this, you sculptured yourself.
Yes,
Can you
yes.
say that?
Yeah, each of these pieces are things that I've done in clay. Um, I've been doing this for a lot of years, and I'm so intrigued by African spirituality and African art. It's a love that I have, and I've been studying it now for about 30 years. Matter of fact, I taught history of African art at California State University, Long Beach, for over 20 years in the Africana Studies department. So this is my passion, this is my love. And since I'm retired from teaching now, I have all my time to spend creating this work.
And how long is it, and it takes some time, let's say for like this piece right here, it took me such time.
Oh, I would say any particular piece that I have would take anywhere from 2 months to 6 months. Because what happens is once you create the image, you have to let it dry for 2 weeks. Once it dries for 2 weeks, then you take it through a bisque firing where you take all the water out of it and make sure it survives. If it survives the bisque, then you can put glazes on it. And once you glaze it, then you refire it. And when you refire it, the way I do this raku firing is a Japanese technique that I've been doing for a long time. And when you pull it